Good morning. In these videos, I'm attempting to explain the main factors at play right now in the travel industry, the fundamentals before pandemic, the extent of damage during quarantine, and what influences have come into play since. In my previous two videos, I talked about airlines and flight cancellations, and so here's just a short story on the same subject which came to light the other day. Last month, one Floridian, Mr. Corey Prennett, rather than enjoying a golfing holiday with friends, spent a great deal of time driving around Britain in search of his clubs. Mr. Prennett had fitted Apple AirTags to his golf bag and followed their independent travel from country to country with interest. Samsung do a smart tag, and there are several other manufacturers. On landing in the UK, he saw his clubs were still on the tarmac at Newark and remained there for 2 days. They were eventually sent to a warehouse in Edinburgh, but whilst driving there, he saw they'd taken a dogleg to Aberdeen. His AirTags showed they finally came to rest in the West Midlands of England, just behind a tree in heavy rough. 2 months later, Mr. Prennett has still not been reunited with his golf bag. He said it contained over 10 grand's worth of equipment, including a $4,000 putter his son had given him as a retirement gift. He rented some clubs in the end, but his friends say he handed in some of the best scores of his life. In the midst of all of this, something strange has been happening to the car hire business. Avis expect to earn $2 billion net profits this year, more than it made in all the years combined from 2010 to 2019. To recap, these companies shrank their fleets and slashed costs in 2020. Hertz ended up filing for creditor protection in the US, but when domestic leisure roared back in 2021, cars were in extremely high demand, and both Avis and Hertz announced multi-billion-dollar share repurchases. Now, in mid-2022, firms do not have enough cars due to the shortage of microchips for new vehicles, car manufacturers optimizing production of luxury models, not the cheap loaners, and these same car manufacturers reducing rental firms' allocation of new vehicles from around 9.5% to 5.5%, because dealerships pay more for a car than rental fleet buyers. The result is a massive shortage, and you may find your rental car is a little longer in the tooth than you were used to previously. But do rental firms care? Not so much, because with average fleet size down by 20%, they can charge more. Depending on the country, 2 or 3 times more. Short-term, elevated used car prices are also delivering windfall profits to rental firms when they come to offload the fleet vehicles. Hertz CFO Kenny Chung, remember this is Hertz who filed for protection in 2020, told investors, "We don't view inflation as necessarily a bad thing for us, as this creates more discipline across the industry in terms of pricing and asset allocation." Yeah, right. I'm not sure we all agree. Of course, Sixt, Avis and Hertz argue that prices were overdue a recalibration pre-pandemic. Whilst Avis is aiming for structurally higher earnings, Hertz is gearing up for the switch to EVs. Consumers will probably swallow a season or two of higher prices, as in, sod it, the cost, I'm going anyway, but not much more, and we think lower prices should return after a couple of years. Sticking customers in an old car and charging them more isn't great PR, and the move by Hertz to have police arrest customers for not promptly returning vehicles was a questionable marketing ploy. Some of those wrongly detained are suing. Companies hope to retain higher pricing even once supply and demand rebalance, which probably won't happen before next year. And rental firms risk a backlash if they gouge consumers on price. And once more cars are available, the temptation to slash prices to grab market share is very likely to return. In either case, investors should ponder if this historically very competitive and low-margin industry has really changed its spots. If you found this video useful, please let me know, and like or subscribe on YouTube. There'll be more videos coming up. I want to look at hotel pricing, but also start talking about some of the more exciting developments in hotels, villas, and travel experiences around the world. The Art of Travel, coming up.